the culture of the 1960s and 70s. Besides hippies and headbangers, there was a lot going on in the 60s. John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960 in a landslide vote that was facilitated by the minority group. Women, African Americans, Native Americans, and Latinos were all fighting for equality. This fight for equality led to the creation of NOW, the National Organization for Women. More and more legislation was passed to fight against African American discrimination as well, while Asian Americans were fighting the new stereotyping and grouping of all Asian culture. In 1963, JFK was shot, shocking the whole nation and still causing conspiracy theories today. After JFK was assassinated, his VP, Lyndon B. Johnson, finished his presidency and was elected again to his own. He established new social policies that were aligned with the ones JFK had also established. All during the Cold War, the US and Soviet Union were playing at what was nicknamed the space race. The US lost all the races except one, the most important. In 1969, the US won their first space race to be the first country to put a man on the moon. This led to speculation and people saying it was all fabricated in Hollywood. Another thing that was prominent in the 60s and 70s was the counterculture. It was all about rock and roll music, outrageous clothing, sexual license, and illegal drug use. It was meant to be a movement of peace and harmony, but in just a few years fell to violence and disorder. A major part of the hippie movement was Woodstock, a 3-day rock festival that was thrown together in kind of a mess. Projections for participation were somewhere around 150,000, and somewhere around 500,000 showed up. They could have made over $1 million on ticket sales, but the ticket booths weren't set up before people started showing up, so they had to declare it a free festival. It rained almost the entire weekend, and since it was held in a rented field in New York, there was no running water. The idea of peace and harmony was great, but with the added illegal drug use, their harmony skills just weren't up to par. The hippie movement was still raging into the 1970s and the election of new President Richard Nixon. One of the most memorable things from the 70s is Nixon's presidency and the Watergate scandal that had him resigning in 1974. Things were kind of crappy for just about everybody in the 70s. Minorities were still being discriminated against. Men were being sent to die in a war on foreign soil that no one agreed with. And the use of cars was creating smog over places like Houston and LA. The economy was struggling almost as much as the people. The national debt climbed to 70% in 10 years. Inflation grew, unemployment rose, and recession became a regular thing. But there were also some great things about the 60s and 70s, like their music. The era held some of the best bands, like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, and Bruce Springsteen. And they're all considered iconic now.